Albert Einstein said, "Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid." It's a quote that describes my whole schooling experience. I was the fish made to climb a tree. He also said, "Education is not the learning of facts, but rather training the mind to think." It's what the school should do, but they don't. They base it off learning facts. The Mexican education system. The Mexican education system has had its share of struggles, from battles with the Catholic Church to influences of socialism. The dropout rate in public schools in Mexico are very high, as the children need to drop out in order for their families to survive. In Mexico, basic education is divided into 3 groups, which is primary or elementary, which is 1 to 6, with middle school or junior high divided from 7 to 9, and high school is divided by 10 to 12. In 150 years, nothing has changed in the classrooms because it is still with the teacher in front of the classroom, imposing their education on the students while they take notes for future testing. They need to change that ASAP, as the people in charge still think that a classroom, the way it was 150 years ago, is the correct way to educate. So we need to change the people in charge of the SEP, or Secretaría de Educación Pública, or change their way of thinking. That way we can eliminate all types of corruption in the education in Mexico. Public schools in Mexico. Public schools in Mexico are free of charge and secular, or non-religious, as religion instruction is banned in the public system. Mexican government provides textbooks free of charge for kids in elementary school, but once they get to high school, parents need to buy textbooks for their kids. But guess what? That's another reason they drop out, because they don't have the money to buy textbooks. Public schools in Mexico are very underfunded. They have a shortage of buildings, teachers, and textbooks. For example, there was an earthquake recently in Mexico City where a school fell because of the corruption in the building. I am sad to say, did not withstand the earthquake. Private schools in Mexico. Most wealthy people send their children to private schools because they offer a broader curriculum and better teachers. The education in general is better than most public schools in Mexico. Some private schools also offer a bilingual education, where half the day is taught in Spanish and the other in English. There are some private schools in Mexico that only focus on religion and Spanish. That is because some are only purely Catholic or only purely Jewish. That is because in the private sector of education, the secular part is non-existent. I would change it because the general education is one size fits all, and which means it's very traditional and makes the teacher the center of the learning environment. I would change it to personalize and individualize each process and education of the students to make the students the center of the classroom and not the teacher. What I believe it to be the problem in the educational system in Mexico is that they give out a grade equally but unfairly. They judge a bird, a monkey, a penguin, an elephant, a fish, a seal, and a wolf who are expected to climb the same tree. Most of them will fail, and they will believe they are useless. Not because they are useless, but because of their abilities. Climbing the tree is not one of them. I would judge them on their ability alone, not standardized testing, but individually. If the people in charge don't do something soon to change education, they will not have any students left in the public section of the education system because the students are lacking motivation, because the teachers are not giving them, because they lack motivation themselves. I would also talk to the universities about making a BA for teaching, because pedagogy is not specifically for teachers. If we prepare our teachers correctly, if we train, educate our students correctly, it could be something huge. As you all know, I am a Montessori guide. That is a BA for Montessori. That's just a problem. It's just for Montessori. The closest I have gotten to a BA in education is a master's in education. That's not even fully for a teacher. I recently read an article that says teachers, psychologists, and chefs are the worst paid BAs in the country. What they don't realize is that getting prepared as a teacher or even a psychologist is very important, as the kids' futures are in your hands. The sooner the education system or the SIP realize it, they will stop playing around with so many children's education and stop making it a business for their pockets. In conclusion, Mexico's education system needs to change so it can grow and prosper. People in the SIP need to open their eyes and realize that they change their ways or get stuck in an education that no one wants. They won't even have a business to stuff their pockets with.